Hello everyone, this is Fanny Menardi from PachaMamArt. Welcome for this episode 2 of my new series to introduce my new book, the PachaMamArt Encyclopedia, Volume 2, the disclosure book. Very excited today. We're going to talk about my introduction, my cover, and the celebration of America's 250th birthday. But first of all, a few shout outs. I want to say congratulations to Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary of the White House, for having her beautiful baby. I love to see good news online. There's so much drama, so much trouble, challenges, wars everywhere, that when we see good news, it's just so refreshing. You see, there is good in the world. This is what makes you want to continue and look for your own happiness and give some happiness to others. And through this connection and this work that we're doing together, I love it. Thank you so much for the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, for reshaping the US government and giving us an opportunity to contribute and participate. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, that I support 100% for the presidency in 2028. So of course, the best campaign that you can do is your own work that everybody sees every day, and so I'm taking this as a lesson for myself as well. I have this opportunity to work with you every day. It's a really busy month. I'm busy at my work. I'm busy with my friends. I haven't seen my friends for years. It's my birthday month, so I'm trying to take care of myself and see my friends, my hair and all of that. So it's cool, but at the same time, I'm passionate about the politics, about all this network, and the people who give their lives. So special thought about Narges Mohammadi, who is a Nobel Prize winner, who fought for freedom of press in her country, in Iran, and who has been made prisoner many, many times in her lifetime, and who is now in a hospital between life and death because they treated her really badly. They tortured her. They poisoned her. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but bad treatment in the hospital where she's at right now. Last time she was there, they gave her a bad treatment that provoked a heart attack, and now she's there. So if anyone that is listening to that has the power to have her transferred in a hospital where she can receive proper care, this is why we're doing this. To connect with people who have the leverage in their fields of expertise to change the world, to make things happen. And we're here to spread the information. So shout out as well to Newsmax and the News Network, Live Fox News as well. All these journalists who work with us to spread the news and trying to harmonize, trying to explain the different perspectives and maybe bridge the different parties. This is my job, to bridge everyone and show that Republicans and Democrats, we should not just hate each other, but we should work for some values and common goals. So this is what this entire book is about. So let's start with the cover. I've already done that in my first introduction. Welcome. I see there's some people watching, so welcome. Thank you. I'm introducing my new book. So like I said before, all these logos, this is the people who contributed to my book by sharing information online. That I've had ties with the FBI for many, many years when things happened in my own life. And then I went to give them some files, and then they protected me, and then they kept an eye on me. And then they found that the work that we do of communicating through symbols and things like that could be interesting. And actually, I applied to the FBI for an anti-terrorism work, because I felt like a lot of these groups communicate through coded language. And so you can learn a lot about just coding, decoding, just from this book, how people communicate. You'll see that all the truth is out there if you're willing to take a look at it and study the facts and put the pieces of the puzzle all together. So this is the 250 years of America, and we're still here with the same Republican and Democrats battles, when in fact we should really focus on our common enemies. We are from the same nations, we're all neighbors, we have different experiences which shape our perspective and therefore shape our political affiliations. But in fact, we all want abundance, we want happiness, everybody actually help each other. Mostly in America, you always have a neighbor who comes to help you. This is really the mentality that we want to promote, and not just criticizing and pointing finger without actually trying to contribute and be a part of it in a peaceful way. So my notice of utilization, guys, I'm just going to explain really quickly, even if I've already explained before, but when I do publish this book, for many, many years, I've published 3 oracles, 2 encyclopedias, about 10 travel books. Only one of my items has been published, and then it was stolen by copyright, by, how do you call, like some copies, fake copies in China. And so everybody bought those fake oracles for $4, and then my publisher refused to publish the second one because they say I didn't make enough sales and things like that. But I kept going, and one thing after another and after another. Then I build my whole thing. The day I have a publisher or someone interested in my work, I'm like, yeah, I have 3 oracles ready. I have 2 encyclopedias. I have all this work that's been building and my network that I want to bring to the United Nations, that I'm so mad because we're just trying to bring them a network of billionaires who want to help in all the fields possible. Like Kim Kardashian, she's passionate about law and justice. We have Elon Musk, we're all passionate about spaceships and space exploration. We wanted to create the Space Olympics to work with Russia that would serve the Sustainable Development Goals at the same time as a mediation plan between Ukraine and Russia. However, everybody was so focused on the pre-written speech of the aggressive attack by Russia. In fact, they wanted to have people who defend them at the United Nations, who have their different perspectives, so we could have a unified world and not just with people who all think these ones are bad or these ones are bad. I've already said I'm not neither for Ukraine or Russia. I want everybody, all the humans on the planet to be happy. But when you look at realistically, what is our interest in defending Ukraine? Like, Ukraine is a young country that was created in the 90s when they tried to break down the Soviet Union. So it doesn't have a culture. Okay, they have a language. It doesn't have, besides that, they don't have a culture. They don't have an economy to bring to Europe. They are ready to implode. They have so much debt. And from the loan, the Secretary of War was explaining that already with some stuff that are happening in the United States, but you can create a parallel with what's happening in Ukraine. They are selling them weapons with the money that they loaned to them. So they're making money from the sales, and they're making money from the loans, the interest rate from the loans that they give to them. And if they don't pay them back, then it's money that is lost. No matter what, everybody loses from helping Ukraine. And in the meanwhile, they're abducting civilians. I'm sorry, I repeat the same thing all the time because I don't understand why they keep killing people when the solution is so easy. And we've tried to tell the United Nations for so many years, and they're just like more and more, never satisfied. It just aggravates me so much. Okay, because if you say, we have a team who's ready to go in, to bring money, to bring solutions. They want to work with us. They're turning a blind eye for some kind of stubbornness. And there's people dying that pisses me off. Because that could be your kids, that could be if that was your family and they were just like making money of this weapon, trafficking and stuff like that. And this is why they don't try to negotiate with Russia. And in the meanwhile, Russia has such a powerful influence over the BRICS network that for us, we have all the interest in working with them. If we want to remove the nuclear weapons, which was Putin's idea in the beginning, then he changed his mind when NATO kept attacking him and stuff like that, and he got mad and starting, being anti-America, anti-West and stuff. Now It's changing because of what we're doing, our important work. But he can have an influence and become the first person who say, okay, we're going to start a denuclearization plan, because we know now for a fact. I've already said that in my last conference, but it's so important. I repeat it every time in case someone listens and, you know, wants to make those things happen. What was I going to say? You can see from what is happening right now in the world that if they wanted to use their nuclear weapon, they would have already. Okay? You see, there is a genocide going on in Israel. Nobody has blown up this fucking country yet. Don't know why. But the guy is still here killing hundreds of thousands of people. Russia and Ukraine, NATO, they hate each other so bad. They still haven't used a nuclear weapon. Okay, so the US and Iran, they're proved that they have the new technologies now that are quite clean, that can target very specific facilities to cancel their military power and stuff like that. So essentially, we don't need the nuclear weapons anymore. We see like in the worst case scenario, people hate each other, people commit genocides, we're still not using them because we've learned the lessons from the past and from history, which is a good thing. So that's great. So now is the good time to say, okay, why are we going to spend trillions of dollars in building those weapons that nobody wants to use? Because we know it can destroy all of us and we're all going to get cancer if we use that. So we start that and then we redirect this budget into a universal income for the US citizen or for the European citizen or for the space exploration. All the stuff we're actually passionate about, the Space Olympics, things that make you happy, that motivates you to contribute to something and work together on a project. NASA is awesome. You know, this is why I have all that tattoos. They'll remind me of my networks. You have the, this one is Valknut. It's a Viking symbol of courage and protection, but it's also like two mountains, like the Mastermind logo a little bit. You know, the Mastermind, they've been such a great influence in my journey. This is why I've been campaigning for them to get the Nobel Prize of Social Economics, Science, because this mentality, not a lot of people have it. Let me tell you, it's rare. First, the network mentality. People are very, very selfish. The resilience and patience, understanding that some things don't come right away. We need, you know, to take some time to get to know each other. We need to take the time to put things in place, to get the right people at the right positions. I'm so stoked that Jared Isaacman is the administrator of NASA. This guy is awesome. Politically, he's so great. He's always very neutral, but he's very smart. He's showing all the sides of every point. He was so smart when they nominated him as a administrator, then they kick him out, and they brought him back, but he was always very resilient. You know, now he's following the nuclear plan of the Trump administration, but this is where we have to say, no, this is not the right direction. We want to step away from the nuclear. We want to bring in the new scientists with the new types of energy that correlate with the sustainable goal of the United Nations. All this stuff we're trying to do for them, but they prefer to have their budget cuts and lose half of their human resources. I don't understand the UN right now. It's like, I'm so aggravated. And I know the social media team and all this stuff, they are the people at the storefront who try to keep it up, and they're almost like psychologists, trying to keep the world together, because a lot of people look at the United Nations, but the leadership inside, yes, they are giving opportunities, but what they've done with me, I'm glad for the opportunity, and I'm going to keep sharing every day. I love to do that. I love to be in the mountain. But like I said, you know, at some point of your life, you're 40 years old, you need to make some money and make this money work into some businesses that is going to start snowballing and make other people benefit from it. If you block the smart people who have the network, who have the ideas, who have all the keys, and you're trying to block them, then it ripples, and then you're blocking all your freaking people. So annoying. So freaking annoying. And then, whatever. You know, simplify your life. So let me turn the camera. Okay, so this I already read it last time. This is a preface from the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Like I said before, when I do get published, all the profits from my book will go to the United Nations. And so you can read that. Should you reuse this material for training purposes, please donate 30% of your profit to the United Nations Foundation. In my first book, here in this book, it's a little different because it's not my art. I've used a lot of the art from Gretel, from Encoded Frequency, or from Scott at Mystic Archives. Because I wanted something different. The art is so beautiful and so conscious. You see, and I really used most of their art. So I don't know what is their point of view on the use of their own artworks, but when it comes to my art from my website, you are free to use the art for your business. If you want to make designs and clothes and stuff, I have no problem for you using the content, as long as you please reference and make some publicity or buy some of my content. You know, we all need to leave at some point. So about the author, so I will introduce myself for those who don't know me very well. So my name is Fanny Menardi. I was born in France, in Nice. That is for me the most beautiful place in the world. I used to see the beach every day, the colors of the water of the Mediterranean. That is so beautiful. Oh my God, I loved it. And when I was a kid, I wanted to travel the world and go see what's out there, because here we have the mountain, we have the sea, we have everything. So I was like, how beautiful the rest of the world must be. So I studied languages. I went to travel in Peru and worked in Peru for a year and a half in a French school. Then I met my ex-husband. I went to the United States for a few times. But you know, my career has always been very important. I'm not just sitting at home and not doing anything. So I was writing my first books when I was there. Then I came back to France to finish my master's degree. After that, I did my internship in Bahrain because my ex-husband was transferred in Bahrain at that time. So I found the position at the French embassy, working at the Alliance Française. I was a teacher and a cultural coordinator. That was the best job of my life. I loved it. I was teaching a little bit. We were organizing cultural events, exhibitions, welcoming people. I love to talk. I talk all the time at my work. Every time they're like, oh, you talk too much to customers. Just shut up. I was like, okay, but they like it. They're just, people like to talk, you know, and so just connecting and just, you know, on the screen we connect, but the human connection, in fact, a lot of the time, people are really, really shy outside of the screen. So I think making all these events where you have people that are curious or who are interested in the same thing are so important. This is why I was still applying to work at the UNESCO for the cultural position, for the assistant director of culture position. I can bring all my art, my experience in art exhibition, in trainings, mastermind trainings, mindset, business, all this stuff. You know, even though I was bankrupt many times, you know, you can blame people for not having a profitable business if you've been blocking their business. Still there. So anyways, then I've been a teacher again. I went to the United States, got married, I had a son, so I started my art business, and I did as many little jobs that I could do that would combine being a mom and being an artist. So I was teaching art in a farm, so we could go there with my son for a long time. I was going to art galleries. I was bringing my son with me. Then I've been a teacher in the United States, so I could be in a school with my son. I was a science teacher, and then there was a lot of immigrants coming during Joe Biden's administration. So we realized a lot of kids didn't speak English. So then I was the only person who spoke 3 languages. So they asked me to switch from science to becoming a languages teacher again, which was really cool, really interesting. I have no complaint about this school. They helped me so much. They really have been there for me. And I think I was there for them too. I was there for the kids. I did my work. I was there every day on time-ish, but every day on time. And I really did every time I always did what I had to do, you know. But my big dream is to work in politics and with my great organizations, United Nations, because I know I'm good at negotiating. I'm passionate, you know. You might not have all the answers, but your curiosity, your passion, your interest, and when you really care about people, when I'm always complimenting and sending good comments, it's not just, you know, trying to get network. Like, I'm really sincere. I'm excited about people's enthusiasm. I'm excited about creating a network because I see the rippling effect and the power that we have when we work together and when we've been through it, and you know how hard it is for the middle classes to make it. You're like, okay, well then if I make it, I'm gonna open the door for all of my people. You know, and a lot of people got tired of waiting. But the problem, like I said before, is that if you give up and you don't keep trying, you're just handing the keys to the business to the dictators. And this is unacceptable because one day they're at your door. And that happened to me before. And you always think it happens to other people and never happens to you until the day they're at your door. And then your whole life turns upside down. Sorry. So yes, guys. And look at what happened in Venezuela. She was saying, we took our freedom for granted. We took our freedom for granted, and then a dictator took the spot, and then look how hard it is. They had to have the Americans go and save them. So that's what happened when you take things for granted. The people who have no values or the wrong values are going to take over and destroy everything that you worked so hard to build. You know, it takes years, decades to build, and seconds to destroy. Unless your network and your tribe is iron solid and nothing can destroy us. And this is why we need you so much, because we can't do it alone. Okay, so I'm going to turn the page, and today I'm talking about the introduction. So happy 250th anniversary, America. Donald Trump, you know, I campaign against Donald Trump, but I love a lot of choices that he made in his administration. I love how he's open-minded, and you know how many times they attacked his family. So his character is debatable, but in fact, you understand why he's like that. Because after all the attacks, again, everything that he does, you kind of have to stay strong, you know, and keep going on your mission. All right, so every chapter starts with a door, a new door. So this is the door to the castle, the fairy tale. You know, that was my goal the whole time, and crossing. Qu'est-ce qu'elle me dit? La route est quoi? Trop. Ah ouais, ok. My goal was to buy my castle. You know, for me, if you don't own something by the end of your life, you've missed your life. You have to legate something to your kids. So that was my whole fairy tale, and see how there is the whole dark forest all around it, the dark night of the soul. So until your door finally opens for you, you're kind of stuck in that forest, you know, and there's other people, and maybe sometimes you stick there for a long time because you have to find the people that want to go through that door with you. But also, it's a teamwork to, once you've made it, to open the door for the others. So I'm going to read this one. So the beginning of my introduction, I explained how the Incas, the Egyptian, or the Celts, at this time, they were educating through stories. So you would go in Egypt, you had different temples of initiation, the temple of Isis, the temple of Osiris, the temple of Set, all these main Egyptian gods who all represent some aspects of life. So for example, the temple of Thoth, the lord of scribes, knowledge, wisdom, everything that is really intellectual is Thoth. That has been such a part of my journey. I have him here. The temple of Isis is everything like the sacred feminine, maybe the body, the motherhood, guiding your kids, the next generation, everything that is motherhood, legacy, and feminine aspect. So they would tell stories like Tony Robbins does all the time, Dean Graciosi. So it's not just like, you have to do that. You have to do that. Things are like that. Why? Because everybody has a different experience of life. So we don't have the same perspectives. Like, for example, of course, if someone in your family has been attacked by an immigrant, then for you have this fear, oh, all the immigrants, they're horrible, they're all criminal, we should send them back to their country. And I understand that. Why is this person here? We open the doors for them, we're giving them a chance to become a part of our society, and they come here and they hurt us. Totally right. And then you have people like me who have this connection with Hispanics and who knows how much they've been through in their country. They were trying to escape the guerrilla. They crossed the Rio Grande full of crocodile on a tire, and the kid comes here, he's traumatized. He had to go hours on a truck. They saw dead bodies killed by the human traffickers, and then they get here. They're completely freaked out and scared, and their parents had nowhere else to go. They're thinking the American dreams is going to open the doors for them and give them an opportunity to work and get better chances for their kids, go to the university. And then I teach those kids. I see them every day. They become my family, and they're so cute, and we literally become family. And then I see the ice outside, and I'm like, man, these guys are demon. They're gonna hurt our babies that they took so many risks to be here, not because they come here to profit the system, but because they had no other choice. In Cuba, there's no food. The girls become prostitutes. The Venezuela, there's no jobs. The guy was a dictator. So when they come here and you actually want to help them, and you have a different perspectives from your different experience. So this is why in the temples, they were telling this kind of stories so you could identify and then make your own mind. Just like when Tony Robbins was telling the story of the commander who had these big political issues between two countries. There was a conflict, and they had the final negotiation, the final meeting, and they tell him the two options, and he's like, you have to make a decision. So what are we doing? So they explain to him, okay, there one of the decision, and he's like, okay, we're doing this. And everybody's like, wow, why are we doing this? Like, how can you know it's the right decision? He's like, I don't know if this is the right decision. I just know I'm a leader, and leaders have to make a decision. So we're doing this, and we'll figure out soon enough if it was the right thing to do. And when he said that story, of course, I think that everybody made the parallel with what's going on in Gaza. Okay, for years and years and years, the Palestinian and the Israeli, they have been fighting. That's all we know from when we were kids. And they had to find, well, how do we stop the war? Okay, we're just gonna kill them, all the terrorists, all these troublemakers. But then we realized, we saw the images online and how this stuff quickly overlapped, not just killing the terrorists, but they started killing innocent children and innocent civilians and women. And you see the images online. Is it really, really normal that we are exposed to this every day? It's not. You know, but did Tony Robbins talk about Gaza at all? No, he didn't. Because maybe the story reminds you of something else from Sudan or another conflicts, wherever your level of understanding or geographically or consciousness or education or wherever it is, it's going to meet you where you are. And then it's going to make you think. Okay? So that's the power of stories. And this is a lot of the things that I explain in this book. That has also been welcomed by high-ranked king officials. We've created a language through the symbols and the art to communicate, debate, and negotiate. This book is the application, the evidence of gathering of documents showing how so many people are participating in creating the golden age, listening to each other, implementing solutions in their respective fields of expertise. So yes, very, very important that we all are a part of the puzzle. It's a lot of us that are very intelligent, that have a lot of skills to contribute to the world. The pie has to be sliced and shared in between all of us. It can't be all given to one. So recognizing, the talent of everyone, this is what I'm trying to do in this book, so we can continue. Okay? And that's my feeder for the cats. So here in my introduction, I want to thank. I'm gonna post it. I think I'm gonna post it on my Facebook, so I don't have to read everything. But I'm thanking President Emmanuel Macron, who never misses an opportunity to have a reference to some French cult movies or just, say some nice things, and I got you back, I'm taking your speeches, embellishing them a little bit, because I hope that this book will make history, and then when people go back to it and they see a little piece of the 21st century, then they see your pictures, and they see what kind of stuff we were talking about, and, how we were behaving to each other. And then here, this one, I love this one. I love how the United Nations was taking back the environment Oscars. They were talking about everyone and the people. So these are 4 people that are very important to me for this book. So this is Jürgen Watne-Friednes, the president of the Nobel Prize Committee, who has been defending, for example, Najes Mohammadi, the press of freedom. He has his own business called PEN International, which is an association that defends the right, the freedom of speech of people all around the world. The Nobel Committee, of course, is very private, so they here to promote other people and not themselves. This is why you don't see them that often, but just because you're working from the shadow doesn't mean that you're not the pillar and the foundation of the society you're building. So I appreciate your support. I appreciate your interest in my work and everyday messages of motivation, making me continue and gather all these pieces to evidence the amazing work that we're actually doing together. Thank you, and I love you very much, and I hope to meet you one day, as well as Kim Kardashian, that is in her own fashion, translating all these topics into beauty, into inspiration and colors. Always make you think. I love Kim. She's like our queen, our goddess. No matter what she does, she succeeds. And sometimes we fail, and sometimes things take time, but no matter what, we never give up on each other. And that's what I love about us, is that, yes, we've done the best and the worst things to each other, but we're still here like family. That's what family should be. People take offense so quickly nowadays. You say one thing bad and that's it. People have their pride so high to themselves that they just forget life is not that complicated. Instead of being nasty and trying to put obstacle in each other's life, we should have more fun. And this is really what Kim embodies, the fun and the class and the beauty and the fashion and the intelligent. Like, she's the best. We love Kim a lot. Elon Musk, of course, I'm a big fan of Elon Musk. I've I'm passionate about space exploration. I think he's the greatest genius in the universe of our era. He created all these spaceships, and I hope that we get to work together on building these new spaceships that are non-polluting, because yes, they are planning on launching like 5 or 6 rockets a day by 2030. So imagine the pollution. Already when I was in Florida, I was always sick. So I can't even imagine what it's gonna be in 2030. So it's urgent, guys, that we work together with the United Nations, with Nassim Haramein, with Elon Musk, with NASA to get on one tone on what direction we're taking with the energy, creating the new spaceships, using the Space Olympics, all the Ministry of Sound project that I explain later on in the book. This is still an introduction. Elon Musk has done so much for America. He's an inspiration for everyone, even when we were campaigning against each other. Literally, he was campaigning all he could for the Republicans. I was campaigning all I could for the Democrats. He still opened his platform to me and encouraged me to post opposite perspectives, just so people could understand that it's okay to have different perspectives, and we need to hear them to find a good compromise. Not just to be so stuck on our ideas because we were raised like this, or we decided the president said this. No, we help the president shape his mind too. He's a human as well. This is why he has counselors. This is why he has a whole team of experts. Okay, and we can be a part of it too, we the people. So we are a great team, and this is me right here. This is all our little crowns. I feel like this is really royal blood, not just because of the social status. We all have different status, middle class, high class, engineering, fashion, or intellectuals. We all come from different backgrounds, and we're still really, really important to each other and supportive. So that was the best thing, to work together. So my chapter 1 would be about the success evidence. However, I'm only 2% battery on my phone, so I need to cut the things right now and say, see you maybe not tomorrow because I have guests, maybe Saturday or Sunday for the introduction of this chapter 1. Once again, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for people who watch. Please share the video. Continue supporting. You inspire me to continue. Thank you for those who follow, because if you give up on me, I'm just gonna go get drunk on the beach every day. That would be just horrible, But really, I feel like we have great things to do that are urgent for the world and still have fun at the same time. So I will see you later. Bye, everyone.